Guys, Kenzie here. Let's talk about Python. So let's create a new Python package. And let's select language as Python. And let's create this function. So for those of you that are new, we are creating a code engine package in Python because there is something that we want to do that might not be available to us through the global packages that Domo distributes. So let's start by first importing code engine, the SDK. So for those of you that haven't seen the other videos, Code Engine is an SDK that we, as Domo, create and maintain so that you can call a lot of helpful, easy functions that we have wrapped for you. So we're actually going to make a couple different functions. So the first function that we're going to make is we're going to talk about how to get an account. We're also going to talk about how to get execution information. And I should be doing it this way. We're going to talk about another thing that we offer with the Code Engine SDK, which is person details. And we're going to send a request. Let's actually change these all so they line up nicely, even though it doesn't really matter. So for those of you who've seen the JavaScript videos, you'll notice that with Python, we actually don't have to do a module export, so that it'll just work without it. So let's start out with this get person details. We're going to kind of go out of order because I want to make sure that we get the underlying context first, and then we can move to more complex things. So what we're going to do is person details is actually a thing that you can call in Code Engine SDK. So we're going to go return Code Engine dot, and then it's called get underscore person underscore details. And we're going to pass in 27. Next, we're going to do this get execution information. And we're going to return. It's the same thing, Code Engine. And I'll explain all these as we run them. Get execution information. Next, we're going to go up here to accounts. And so with Python, the way you can get things to come in this standard out, so writing to the console if you know JavaScript, the way you can print things out to debug is using print statements. So you can do hello, how are you? And then for this get account, Code Engine allows you to link up accounts that you have registered to your Domo user. So we're going to go here to this package configuration tab. We're going to add an account. For my user, the only account that I have access to is this abstract credential store account. This alias is very important. So let's name it my account. And we'll save that. So now what we do is we can return. So in the return statement, we're going to do code engine dot get account, and we're going to pass in that alias that we just defined. So we're going to copy this my account and paste it on in. So lastly, we're going to do the send request. The same exact thing is going to occur. We're going to return code engine dot, and then it's called send underscore request. And here we're going to pass in what we want. So it's going to be a get, and then we're going to pass in the URL. Since I don't have that off the top of my head, I am going to just save this account for now, save this package, and go in, and I'm going to actually copy it out of this user package that we made. I'm going to copy this URL. We're going to go back. So that was the JavaScript version. We're just working on the Python. So we're going to go and paste that in here. I'm going to use double quotes. And this user ID, we're just going to do, we're actually going to pass in this user ID. And I'm going to change this. And we're just going to append that in the middle of it. So, next thing we have to do is we have to make sure that all of them are wired up correctly. So as we can see, there's a red line, red exclamation point, and a red line underneath the get accounts. If we click on that, we can go in here. Since I don't want to have mismatching types, I'm going to put this as a text. And let's save this package, and now let's see what happens when we run stuff. So we're going to first run this get execution information. So get execution information is really helpful. It is also in JavaScript. This allows you to see what is calling you. So you could see what workflow you're actually calling this code engine function from. So I know that this is the user that just hit it. The customer is here. Here's the host name. The entity type would be a workflow, an app, and so on. And entity details is information that the workflow passes along with it. So which instance of your workflow was hit when that was hit. That's really helpful if you're wanting to key off of certain pieces of information that get passed through there. Next, let's run person details. So this is going to give you a lot of information about the person. So on this one, get person details returns an object that has the ID, the display name, the avatar, and so forth. Now let's go and let's hit the account. Let's run this account. So here we can see that this account, we have the credentials and the access token needed to make external calls if you would like. So you can pass those credentials in as headers and use them to hit other services. So send request is to hit Domo internal APIs. We're going to pre-do the headers and the everything for you, so you don't have to worry about that. You are also welcome to pass a body, but you can pass extra headers if you would like to. In certain cases you can, but overall it's not really needed. So let's hit this. Let's pass in user 27. Let's save and start. And here you can see that we just hit that endpoint. And it actually returns the same object as the get person details, but you can actually perform actions. So if I wanted to only get the title, I could return that as an object and query into that. I hope this was helpful. Also, just as a side note, remember to define your outputs if you actually want to use the response that's coming out. And then you have to save and deploy in order to use it in other Domo features and processes. Well, talk to you later. See ya.